Welcome back to Credentialing Chronicles,
where we spill the tea on the doctors you see.
And we're spilling it, baby, all across America.
Hell yeah. Well, Nyleen and Shannen sitting there talking about you while you pull up a chair. They holding everything.
Okay, so I do want to say we do have a lot to talk about.
A lot.
Before we get into any tea, we have to do our disclaimer.
Yes.
Okay, because we've not credentialed any of these physicians, and all this information is based on publicly reported information that y'all can find on your own. We're just here compiling it for you and reading the board reports because they're so much fun to read.
All the tea. We read all the different tea outlets and then put it all together and give you a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you know what's funny though, Shannen? Because administration loves to say things like, can we fast track this?
Yeah, like credentialing is the drive-by Chick-fil-A.
My pleasure.
I know malpractice history, but here you go. Ready to just perform.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, administration comes to me dead serious and says, we really need this provider credentialed in 30 days.
Okay.
Okay? So we all know.
We know that. Everybody knows that.
So I said, okay, do they also want me to summon their residency program from 1997 out of the spiritual realm? Because that hospital doesn't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
Right? So, but the provider says, I don't have any gaps in employment. And we love a bold lie.
We do.
We do love a bold lie. So suddenly we teleport from 2016 to 2020.
Okay.
He teleported.
Okay.
Those years just, they didn't exist.
No gaps.
No, it was a disappearance act. So I asked about it.
Okay.
And what was he doing?
Maternity leave.
Paternity leave.
Paternity
For 4 years?
He was involved.
No, he said he was consulting himself in the mirror.
Really? Something cute?
I don't know.
Oh my God, you are so funny.
I know. Those are my little jokes for the day.
Okay, I have a couple.
Okay.
So, you know how providers always say, I sent it to you through email. I uploaded it in the portal.
Yeah.
You know, I have it. I'm giving it to you. I'm going to put it in later on today.
Okay.
And then you say, well, where did you upload it? The cloud, Google Drive, the credentialing software. And then they say, you know, it's not in my system, so I don't see it anywhere. And they, you know, I'm expecting something like, I uploaded it to NASA.
Right.
Because I'm consulting there. But I don't see it.
Okay. Got it. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
That's probably what he should have said.
That's what he should have said, because I'm like, at this point, honey, you know how it always is with that, right? Okay, so let's talk about Oklahoma, baby.
Okay. So I got some boring stuff. So
I know,
some
that's what I was
updates.
thinking. I mean, you should start with that so that
Listen, we got to give them some CEs here, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, y'all need to get your education certificate.
And Nyleen has about 102 certifications right now.
No,
so she's very good at making sure we're up to date with our legislation.
Well, you know, that's what my compliance officer is all about.
No, I love it.
Okay, so y'all need to know legislative updates that are going to affect you or affect.
Oh my goodness, somebody don't want to hear legislation, baby. They want confession session.
So I get black balls
You
confession.
got hold out. See. Okay.
Nobody wants to listen about the law.
Okay, so we ready? Oh my God, y'all. I'm going to give this one. This one came in from Oklahoma, hot off the press. You want to read it? You're shy. Well, you're going to do the legislation. Yeah, let me read it. Okay. So I'm an MSP in Oklahoma, and I swear, this is something that I would only say to my friend. ...
Credentialing Chronicles.
Yes, because we are friends.
Yeah.
There was this one provider file that just didn't sit right with me. Nothing you could do flat out deny but enough little things that I kept flagging it, documenting it, and trying to slow it down. But every time it came back, it met requirements. We need them, push it through. And truthfully, it was because he was doing procedures and bringing in money. So it only got approved. So it got approved anyway, just based on leadership's final word. After that, everything shifted. I went from being thorough to being difficult. I wasn't included the same way. My input didn't carry enough weight anymore. And you just could really feel that the tone changed in every conversation. All because I wouldn't just stay quiet and pass it through like nothing was off. And here's the craziest part. I know I wasn't wrong. I felt it then, and I still feel it now. But instead of being heard, I was basically pushed out for speaking up. So I left, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much to stay anywhere that wouldn't even trust the MSP doing their job. Especially when new leadership came in acting like cleaning things up meant silencing the people who were actually paying attention.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, y'all.
It wasn't me.
Don't ask me, did you write that? I'm like, no, but I've been there. I was once called, you're an obstructionist. Because I was speaking up and saying, whoa, we have got
Is that a new word?
obstructionist.
Obstructionist, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
unfortunately, these are things that we have to go through, and then you have to make a moral decision as far as what you're going to do. Well, what happened? Since we're on storytelling, you know what happened to me?
Don't get her started.
Listen, I was at the hospital, the community hospital, and the CEO decided we had 6 floors. Each floor had a wing, so we had 12 wings. He decided to close one of the wings so that only employed physicians could consult patients on that floor. So only employed hospitalists or employed group doctors could see patients on that floor. And it was a community hospital run by mainly concierge doctors, so the concierge doctors would see their own patients. So their patient ended up on that floor, they couldn't see their own patients. And these patients are paying, what, $6,000 a year to see the doctor? So long story short, the doctors rebelled and they got the entire C-suite fired, which then led to getting a new CMO. When the new CMO came, she was a pathologist. So that, of course, sat so well with all of our, doctors. But anyway, she came on, and first thing she did was she fired the medical staff director. Subsequently, my one other employee, she decided that she wanted to do something else. Another one decided to be a stay-at-home mom. I went from a department of 4 with 1,400 providers to me. And they said, okay, we'll give you $2 to stay. I was like, $2
To do everything.
and to take $2, and I had to take the CEO's secretary with me. And when she came into my office, she's like, well, I could do your job. And I was like, oh, great. Do you know what the MD and a DO is? And she's like, no. Got it.
Have fun.
So I said, let's start with what that means. Do you know what a PA is? No. Do you know what an APRN is? No. I said, okay, great. This is what they gave me to work with. But long story short, has a nice ending. So fast forward 8 years later, you know she's the medical services manager now at that hospital?
Oh my
And she was at my webinar last week, and she put everybody, she's like, Nyleen trained me.
Oh my goodness.
So that's a good story.
That's a good story.
I still quit though. I trained her and I said,
You know that. Take a bite.
exactly.
I wonder if she's getting the $2 plus a little more, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they've been through a lot of changes now.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
But we
It's a story.
understand,
But
it's
we
what we're
understand.
saying, we do
Yes.
understand, and that's why we're really bringing stories like this out to MSPs all over, because, if you get told that you're obstructionist. I just never had heard that word before, but obstructionist enough, you might actually start believing you are an obstructionist, but you're not, baby. You are the what protects the patients from some of the wild and crazy stories that we're about to tell you today.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's say about this, get your CEs ready. Okay, so according to Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority has reinstituted mandatory provider attestation for compliance to be completed via their portal by May 15th, 2026. Y'all know that? Great.
See, they already have on it.
See, they already on it. They don't need me. Okay.
have on it.
Confirm your enrollment, compliance, and operational information. So that was like update number 1. Number 2, medical marijuana. So the most significant change for physician credentialing in medical marijuana. Do y'all know about medical marijuana? Yes?
Oh, we know all about it.
Sure.
Okay, and then we have the cards here. Okay.
Mango is everywhere. I see mango. I say, what is mango? Let's go get mangoes. It says cannabis mangoes. I'm not a patient.
So if a physician recommends medical marijuana,
Okay, tell me.
they have to register with the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, OMA, annually.
Them as well.
Yeah, complete approved medical education courses. They cannot operate out of a dispensary. And,
A little conflict of interest, so that's good.
yeah. And then this OMA will publish a list of the registered physicians in January. So when we're credentialing, we can check that list to see if the doctors are complying with the OMA requirements. Yes.
Yes, awesome.
Okay, I got another one for you. Did you guys hear about the independent APRN prescriptive authority change?
Look at everybody said yes.
Good job. Yes. So removes the requirement for APRNs to operate under supervision for prescription. So how did you guys handle that on your privilege forms? I'm just curious.
It's
Didn't
pending.
change anything. So this doesn't matter. They still have to do everything the same. Anybody here working in private practice? Do they do whatever they want? Can I just say, your hats are amazing. Did we not get the memo that I should wear a hat?
Yeah, I would have worn
I
a
love
hat.
your hats.
I love it. I'm like, are we at Credentialing Chronicles or Kentucky Derby?
I'm telling you, I love it. I have one too.
MSG's, baby. And they're all like together. Are
know,
y'all friends? Are your friends working the same thing?
We're friends.
That's amazing.
So you guys aren't even doing this with the nurses still making them do have a thing. Okay.
Well, the plans make you still have it, so it really doesn't matter that the states change it. The plans make you have a supervisor. So I think that's the part that everybody forgets. You know, when it's like, oh, they can see anybody they want. They can say anything. Well, the plan says, can I get your collaborative agreement?
Yeah. Okay, this one is going through all 50 states, slowly but surely. It has passed in some states, and it is on the bill for docket in other states. So we just came from Iowa and Nebraska. It's on their docket. It has not been approved. In Florida, it has already been approved. And in Oklahoma, it was approved, I believe, November 1st, 2025.
What? Tell me. I'm like, what was it?
The International Foreign Graduates.
Oh, yes.
So you guys are aware of that. Okay, so every state has different requirements, however. So in the state of Oklahoma, the pathway is, and here's going to be our challenges, how are we going to verify education? Because this is going to be a big problem. And I'll tell you because I ran into this
It's
in
crazy.
Florida already.
It's
So
I'm a CDO. We know about it. Yeah.
yeah, so they have to have 3 years, they have to be a doctor in their country, first of all. They have to have a medical degree in their country, whatever country that is, doesn't matter.
But not verifiable.
Right, because it's, in, whatever language. But anyway, key requirements include 3 years of postgraduate training, an ECFMG certification, and a 3-year non-renewable job offer with an ACGME accredited system. So it's not a residency, it's an employment. And that's the difference. They are not enrolled in a residency program. They are given clinical privileges. Okay, during these 3 years, they have, and this is just in Oklahoma. In Iowa, it was 6 years. So Oklahoma's giving them 3 years of clinical practice. They do have to complete their USMLE exams, and they have to get a job offer. Now, they have to practice, quote unquote, under supervision of the chair of the department. What does that mean? It doesn't say if it has to be direct or not. They have to speak English. I think that would be a requirement.
That's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
They have to pass a background check. I don't know what passing a background check means. Does that mean you have a name and a social? But, I mean,
Well, I guess it would be whatever the policies of the facilities are
Okay.
regarding background.
policy, yes. And then the license is 3 years. And they have to pay $500. It's $500 fee applicable.
That's not a lot.
No. So after 3 years of supervised practice and in good standing, then they can be eligible to move to an unrestricted license. Only 3 years. Iowa is 6 years, yeah. But Oklahoma made it only 3 years. So you're gonna have these doctors coming through your facilities that have a license to practice with no residency and no fellowship in the US.
There's only two places they can work.
Where?
The two academic centers that we have in Oklahoma.
The academic centers, because they're doing,
Yeah.
so,
So they can't just go straight to a hospital?
No.
Oh, good.
so that's good. But
I mean,
they're still,
I'm interested here, at least when I was working in Oklahoma, all the hospitals I've ever worked at, in your bylaws, it says you have to complete an ACGMA residency. So they're automatically out even after.
How do you get
they're
that?
how do you, but the problem is they're trying to fill these gaps. And so it's like, and rural health. So the case in Florida, I have a interventional pain doctor. He graduated from Iran, one of the universities in Iran. And the hospital that picked him up enrolled him in a fellowship. So he never did a residency, but he had got into a 1-year fellowship with this program in Miami. So the only thing I could verify is that he was actively enrolled in a fellowship, and then he got an active license in Florida, but there's no residency ever to be found.
So is that a non-accredited fellowship?
No, this isn't a accredited pain medicine
But I
fellowship.
thought you had to complete a residency.
That's where there's all these rules changing.
That's the new, that's the new.
And so they have to create these alternative pathways, because if the state is allowing you to get a license and not have to complete it, so these are all the changes that we have to be on top of, because agree, yeah, it could be just the academic facilities right now, but if other hospitals say, we need the help, we're willing to provide a supervising, because it doesn't say supervising doctor from a school, academic facility, it doesn't say that. It just says supervising doctor. So if a rural hospital says, we need these extra hands to cover our floor, how are we going to adjust for that in our DOPs?
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that as we bring it up right now, as it's still going through and it hasn't been approved yet, you know, that's, again, ways that you make yourself more valuable is where you think of every obstacle this could be, every place this is gonna touch, and you prepare your CEO, because what's gonna happen is your CEO, the board members, somebody, baby, they're gonna be in a meeting somewhere, they'll be like, oh, you know, you can just hire 4 doctors now, let's get them in there and get them in there. And that CEO is gonna come to you, or your CMO, and say, hey, get these doctors in here, and you're gonna have prove yourself valuable and have all of this documentation and say, okay, we can get them in here, but here are all of our obstacles that we have right now. Here's solutions, you know, things that we do as MSPs. But, you know, again, these are the things that, you know, build your brand as a person, as an MSP, because you're already aware of things, you're already thinking of obstacles, and you're already thinking of solutions or barriers of like, we have to change our bylaws in order to make this work, baby. And so that's, you know, again, building yourself to be that knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got another one.
Okay.
Because we gotta talk for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, what about social workers? She was talking about social workers.
Oh, the good old behavioral health.
So social workers, Oklahoma House Bill 2261 enables Oklahoma to join the social work licensure compact. So licensure compacts are now not only nurses, there exist some physician ones, yep, and so now it's a social worker. They're gonna create a multi-state licenses allowing social workers to practice across state lines in member states, reducing the red tape. Full implementation is slated by the end of 2027. So they'll be able to have licensing mobility. They'll be eligible, so Oklahoma social workers can practice in other compact states without applying for a new license, and vice versa. So they're gonna allow them to practice.
Telemedicine.
Telemedicine. They're hoping to expand care access to care. The legislation,
Which is needed.
yep, aims to address Oklahoma's behavioral health shortage. Apparently, you guys have a behavioral health shortage. Because the state apparently only meets.
But it's not just y'all. It's not y'all. No, it's not just y'all.
Yep. So apparently you guys are only at 67%. Okay. Now, they say that this is going to reduce the administrative burden because they only have to pass one exam or deal with less lengthy licensing procedures. I love how they say they just put an adjective that it's lengthy, not necessary.
Not necessary.
Because it just takes too long, too much paperwork.
No, too much.
Okay, and then it's going to, like I said, it's going to be good through 2027, effective by the 2027.
Do we know which states are joining the pact?
No,
Okay.
they did not
Okay.
give me that detail.
Is Oklahoma joining?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Oklahoma is one
Y'all
of the
thinking
states.
about it?
Yeah. So it's called the Social Work Licensure Compact.
Okay.
So look up that. Y'all credentialed social workers or work in behavioral health.
CME requirements are something you need to think about if that's something that's coming down the line, you know? Supervision.
Okay, so before we start spilling some tea and getting into my stories.
I wanted to talk about really quick the future of credentialing. Who has heard just in like the last 6 months about AI? Right? Ain't y'all? So do y'all have a card that looks like this, like one of our Ricky Lake cards?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask a question. And if the answer is use sparingly because you know ChatGPT be lying, you're gonna flash pink. But if it's like, I'm all in, baby, I want a solution, give it to me, you flash it white. Okay? So I wanna know, where do you stand? Do you use it sparingly because you know it makes mistakes and you just a verifying bug? Pink. Or are you all in because you need a solution, you are overbearing, you are tired, you got things to do? White.
It's a no-go at all for us.
Okay, where are you at? I'm a pink girl, you're a white girl, where are you at?
So
Are you white and pink? We gotta do it too.
I gotta do it too.
Yes, baby.
But I flip. Sometimes I'm like, I'm like pink, and then I'm like white, and then I'm like, no, wait, I gotta do pink again, because then I gotta like double check everything that they said.
Yeah.
They said.
But we do want solutions.
Well, we do need it. We need them.
solutions. And so I just want us to think like a little bit outside of the area of, will AI replace medical staff professionals?
No.
Never, okay? And so when we think about it, and, I know everybody mostly has some type of credentialing software in your facility. And I know that the software people talk to you because, they always just want y'all to sign a new contract. And so when you're ever talking to them, you should talk to them about things that would make their software better. So maybe something like, now that the plans own CAQH, like once a provider becomes effective, maybe that should bing back over the CAQH and you can kind of see where all the providers are affected. But again, your voices are the voices that get them to move in different ways. And so if they think that you need a solution so bad that you're willing to just throw all the cards on the table, then they're just going to throw anything at you. And so I just want everybody to kind of look and think about how can we use AI to have the systems talking to each other accurately, having mapping Blue Cross Blue Shield sent out a new application. Oh, my system automatically has it. Automatically maps it, automatictically ready. Those are the things that you have to talk to your software companies about.
Well, I
sit in the bathtub and write a list, baby.
Yes. But can I tell you, some are listening.
Yes.
Some are listening. So, y'all know. I mean, if y'all follow me, I'm kind of out there a lot, and I do a lot of things, and I'm
Everywhere.
enjoying my change in life that's occurred. But anyway,
Not that change.
other changes.
Not it.
Anyway, life situations. But anyway, so I had the opportunity to be reached out by many software companies, and a lot of them want to say, can you vet our program? Tell us what you like, what you don't like. So what is actually out there? So there is a program out there, and unfortunately it's from the UK. It really hasn't been adopted. And my feedback to them was, you're not ready for the US market. But one of the things that they do is when a nurse, in this case, it's an HR more used platform, but they you put in the license, it reads the license and it automatically fills that in. So instead of us having to type it in, it types it in for you. So that's one. And then one of the platforms I do use for my surgery centers, girl. I
Well,
can't
don't
say the
say it, they
platform.
didn't pay it. They did not pay
I'm not
it.
gonna give you the name.
There's no sponsorship.
But this woman, I don't know how she did it, which means if she did it, there's no reason why any of the other companies can't do it.
What she did?
You send out an application to a doctor.
Okay.
It goes out with an automatic release, right? That once the doctor creates the username, she will get an alert. The alert will say, do you authorize us to query the AMA on your behalf? They say yes. It imports the information from the AMA and it types in their whole application for them. Right? That's the biggest complaint. They don't even worry so much about job history, but it's the stupid education that they have to enter 20 times.
It's the data entry.
That irritates them. So I told her, once that launches, I said you have literally changed the game across platforms. So they're using AI. So that's how I think we should use AI.
Yes.
One of the things I will tell you, precautionary tale of AI, is anything we put in AI is discoverable.
Mm-hmm.
So anything, if we're working on any cases on NEC, anything that has to be reported to the database, you should not be using MPDB for that.
Throwing your minutes in there.
Or
saying,
throwing
hey,
your
right,
minutes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because all of that becomes discoverable, is not protected.
No.
So just be very careful on how we use it. There's one thing to, write a letter and all this other stuff, but not to use it or put,
But there are companies that say, oh, we have robots that call the plans, and da-da-da-da. You're like, well, what happens if they have a question? You say, oh, well, then you have to call back. And you're like, well, that's not kind of helpful.
Yeah.
So, there's just so many ideas, which I understand, but I'm just saying, use your voice in things that you need, write them down, and when you get the opportunity to talk to your software company, you give them your wish list and make them make the software that you like. Take that idea, put that on your list when you take your bath tonight, and just put, oh my
All right, confession session. We need another confession session.
Okay, it's your turn.
My turn. But mine are short.
Oh, honey, I got one of these long ones over here. She wrote pages. This one a page and a half. Go ahead, read it, because you're so good at eloquence.
Oh my God, so I'm gonna try and shorten it up.
No, it's a good one.
Okay, so when I first began my role as a credentialing specialist, I was trying hard to learn our bylaws. We all do that,
We all
right?
do that.
Oh, by the way, I just came from the AORN, and I talked to a bunch of nurses, and I looked at them, I'm like, I know y'all have read your bylaws, and they looked at me like I had mud all over my face. They're like, what are those? I was like, oh. Okay, so anyway, okay. So
She will be the surgery's voice of
I'm going
for credentialing, y'all.
Yes.
They will get it together.
They will.
I know.
I think it's the last thing I do. Okay, so she was trying hard to learn her bylaws, understand the various regulatory bodies and oversee the medical staff, becoming familiar with the self-governed
Everything.
medical staff structure, all the things. And she had a doctor help her. Oh, she said a provider gave her a crash course. That's
Okay,
nice.
period.
Okay, early one morning, we received a report that stopped everything. A provider had allegedly struck a patient the night before. Someone beat him up. Staff had witnessed the incident. Girl, he did it in front of somebody else.
Ooh, we said that he was spinning around.
Given the seriousness of the allegation, there was no gray area. We immediately notified the Department of Health, triggering a full abuse investigation.
Oh, not the whole health department.
The patient in question had been brought in by the police.
Oh. So that was already feeling
There was
aggression.
already feeling
Okay, all right.
aggressive. And after a violent public incident, had a head laceration that needed evaluation. Paramedics were involved, but due to the patient being aggressive, just saying. Sometimes you gotta back door.
Cut that part.
Cut that part out. So the patient was being aggressive, verbal, and physically abusive. The patient arrived in a cop car in handcuffs with a gash on his head.
The doctor
It's
said-
not sanitary. It's not sanitary in the back of the
Oh,
police car. Woo. Okay, so law enforcement briefs medical staff ahead of time, and safety precautions were clearly a priority. The patient was also restrained at the ankles to prevent from kicking.
Oh my. Okay.
Once inside the exam room, the patient remained restrained with handcuffs.
Oklahoma, y'all be putting the details in the story. I am there.
A police officer, a paramedic, and a nurse remained present in the room to help manage
Okay,
to finish
that's
those three.
chaperones. Okay.
Oh, I got a story about that too. Okay. But nursing staff attempted multiple times to obtain vital signs, during which the patient continued to be verbally aggressive. When the provider first entered the room to assess the patient, it was determined that the patient needed time to calm down.
So the provider's
So
like,
he was fine. His heart is beating.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Obviously.
Let him cool down. When the doctor returned later to look at his head laceration, the patient spit in the doctor's face.
Oh.
What the doctor did.
At that point, the situation escalated.
I bet it did.
Witness accounts varied and details became unclear. Staff reported, girl, who wrote this? I'm telling you.
Oklahoma.
Woo. All right, the staff reported that the provider struck the patient with a fist.
With a fist.
Body camera footage showed the provider's fist raised, but the footage was obscured by movement and confusion as personnel attempted to de-escalate the situation. To hold him back.
So they couldn't see, didn't make contact.
Didn't make contact. You had it
Oh
right.
my
Yeah.
God, that's what I'm wondering. Okay.
Part of the investigation, a comprehensive review of the
Oh, this is
provider-
coming to y'all medical staff, honey. What y'all doing?
As part of the investigation, a comprehensive review of the provider's credentialing file was conducted, including verification of mandatory report training.
Has he hit other people?
Correct. Today, as a direct result, proof of mandatory reporter training became a standard requirement on file. Multiple credentials committee meetings followed as we balanced internal due process on the ongoing state investigation. The provider was placed on leave of absence fewer than 30 days. If you know, you know. During that time, the committee determined the provider would need to appear before the NEC to walk through the incident with their perspective, which is true.
Okay.
After careful review, the decision was made to allow the provider to return to work. How many of you would allow him to go back to work?
Or advocated?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I punched the guy. Okay, no. Sorry. Whew, I'm gonna have to go up in front of NEC now. All right. The enrollment, he had to enroll in a rehab behavior program, consistent attendance to classes, regular check-ins with an in-house peer mentor. Wow. It was corrective, structured, closely monitored, and of course, well documented. The program spanned 6 months, and during the time, the provider came up for reappointment. With the state investigation still unresolved, privileges were extended to allow the process to continue. Each extension was accompanied by a formal update on the provider's progress. By the time the program concluded, the provider's reports were positive, compliance strong, and no further incidents occurred. On that basis, the committee approved a 1-year reappointment. Nearly 2 years later, the state medical board finally held a hearing. Even now, we remain in limbo, awaiting the decision regarding the provider's license. In the meantime, the provider continues to work actively in the facility. For me, this case was an unforgettable introduction to credentialing. It's taught me how policy, behavior, regulation, and real-world chaos intersect, and how one incident like this changes your whole credentialing process. Isn't that a beautiful one? That is
I got
beautiful.
goosebumps. Y'all got goosebumps? I got little goosebumps. I'm like, ooh.
Well, that transitions me into,
Okay.
this is actually a really good transition, into I think this is my last one, about the legislative update in Oklahoma.
We are still on the list.
I told you I got it up. We have to go. We got to talk to people for a long time. Okay, so speaking of that, now that the board
Their
heard about
papers
it,
full, Nyleen. Their papers full, Mom.
so listen, no, but okay, so now that the board heard about this doctor in
Okay.
Oklahoma State Board Medical License has adopted a significantly stricter zero tolerance approach. See, to the licensee misconduct, emphasizing patient safety over rehabilitation. In cases of moral turpitude and criminal behavior. So, would that be considered moral turpitude?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, how about a physician? So this is true story. I'm going through this right now. We have a physician who locked up his wife in a closet and was arrested for battery, not battery, but
Kidnapping?
no, false imprisonment.
Also, that sounds like a good one. That sounds like that. I was going to.
Is that moral turpitude?
Yes!
I would think so.
Yes! That is But I can also see on the boards, I mean, you can see the other side of it too, right? It's like you're the provider if you felt yourself escalating, you should have left the room.
You should have left the room.
And not delivered a fist to
And
the
not-
to the
exactly.
face. So I mean, I can see both sides of that.
Wait,
right?
in an instant,
Yeah, but humanly, yeah.
because if you spit in the face of a police officer, that is assault.
That's assault against assault. Why isn't it assault against?
That is the
Exactly.
doctor, and the doctor's just there to help.
And in a knee-jerk reaction, I think you're gonna, he didn't actually knock the guy out,
Right,
but, so he did refrain.
correct.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, he didn't jump on top and start wheeling. True, true,
Yeah.
true, true,
We don't
true.
even know if he hit him, because you said the camera.
The camera did.
And there is an MSP perspective, because like, hello, we still don't even know.
Exactly. So the Oklahoma Board has refined the definition of unprofessional conduct and tightened its authority to immediately revoke licenses for specific criminal acts, even if those acts did not happen in an exam room.
Well, I have a story that might contradict that.
Well, this just happened.
Oh, okay,
New.
okay.
They're updating their laws.
Okay, they need to.
Well, right. So maybe because as a result of all this tea
Yeah.
spilling and all the stories we got,
Sure.
they decided, because if I'll tell you who y'all still have practicing around, yeah, I'm just saying.
We have to do some license verifications.
So, we got, okay, so the board now places immediate action on the following. You ready? Fraud, theft, sexual misconduct, violence, and drugs.
Those sound like all the things we talk about.
I know. Moral turpitude is a conduct that violates community sentiment regarding honesty, justice, or good morals, which is now a primary target. Abuse of trust. This board strictly enforces penalties for an abuse of trust or coercion or manipulation using the doctor-patient relationship. Falsification, no second chances for lying. So if you lied on your application, falsification in clinical settings or in licensed application documents is handled as a zero tolerance issue.
I'm okay with that.
Well, one of the stories I got, he done lied on his license application a
I'm
couple
okay
of
with that.
times. Okay, so then, the no-go zone. If a licensee has been found guilty of a felony, sexual misconduct, or drug abuse, it's automatic.
I'm good with
License
that.
out.
Y'all good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that too.
And then,
I'm loving Oklahoma's boards. Oh my God.
wait.
Y'all must be talking to some people.
Yes, that's our MSPs doing their job.
Yes.
Okay, immediate action. The board has accelerated its ability to take action, revocation, suspension against licensees who exhibit a risk to patient safety. So that's just like exhibiting a risk. I mean, how many times do we talk about patterns of behavior?
Every
It's
time.
20 times that they already.
Every single time. And really, I mean, if Oklahoma could do all those board changing, honey, people need to come over here and learn from Oklahoma. Because we have states that are not doing that at all. They are letting things dry. There is still a doctor in Helena, Montana, killing people. 11 people dead under his watch, y'all. He's still active, unrestricted license.
Now, here are the two that I really love. So get this. A licensee can no longer easily surrender their license to avoid prosecution unless they explicitly admit to the misconduct in the sworn statement.
Oklahoma.
Yes, that's a really.
Can the hospitals adapt that as well?
Right?
Y'all got
But if the state is setting, if the
That
state medical board is setting the precedent, why shouldn't our hospitals?
The hospitals can, yes, write it on your list. of your
You cannot
manager.
falsify your application, and
Yes.
you cannot surrender in the middle of an investigation.
Yes.
Okay, cost recovery, if a licensee is found guilty, they have to pay the board's investigation legal costs in addition to
And they
fines.
should, it ain't free, boo. It ain't free to look this good. Go Oklahoma.
Good job.
This was good, you finished good on the legislature. You started more than you was, oh, is there more?
Do I see? I get honest criticism right there. It's okay. I was trying to be like all
Is there more?
serious.
I'm ready now, I'm like, you done got
I will say, and since there's only a few of you guys here, y'all can be honest with us. One of the other reasons that we did the podcast is we wanted to bring credentialing to the mainstream and it's just like, it'd be okay
The patients.
to patients and to let them know we are doing something. There are a group of people who are here to keep them safe that they don't see, number one. But number two, that we can talk about it. Even though we can't talk about it, we can talk about
We
it.
can talk about it.
And so I don't know. Do you guys
Feel that?
do you guys feel that? Do you guys like? What do you guys think? Is it a good idea? Was this a good idea to do?
Yes, okay, period. They said, baby, we here. We here, and they like it.
Good.
Now you be needing the love on. We got love on her tonight, y'all. Somebody get her a margarita.
So, okay, all right. So, I got my stories, but we got time. So,
Yeah. Well, I have one legislative thing.
oh, look now, look.
Well, you put it in my notes, so I wrote it down. It's just my next cards. I'm like,
Okay.
but let me tell. I'm real quick. You guys know that. So she told me that I should really touch on the nursing background check changes. Have you guys heard about all of that going down? No. Okay. Well, see. Okay.
Okay, so
I'm here to fill you in, baby, and give you a lesson on this one. So now the nursing schools are going to be required, well, the Board of Nursing in Oklahoma, which I'm so in love with, all the boards here, and I'm in love with the weather, and I'm staying on a little peninsula with my little RV, and I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful here. Oh, it's so green. Okay, but anyway, I love Oklahoma. So the Board of Nursing is saying that the schools here, the nursing schools, are going to have to start reporting the completion rates, number one. Okay? They're going to have to start reporting the enrollment data. So who was enrolled as versus how many people are completing this program. And the student outcomes. So are they going out and actually getting jobs as nurses, LPNs, RN? Okay, I love yes, baby. And so really what they're saying is, Oklahoma, the Board of Nursing is saying, prove that you're teaching people and that they're actually graduating now. And that what you're teaching them is valuable in the workforce, which is incredible. And so when you look at that, if the school falls below 70% of graduation levels and outcomes, the board actually now has the right to step into the nursing school, do site visits, do recommendation, do audits, and really is governing the schools, which, what do you guys think about that? Thumbs up, or is it?
Of course.
Pink, you love it? White, you hate it?
Yeah.
Pink, you love it? Yeah, I love it too. I love it too.
And I'm so proud of Oklahoma doing that. You know why?
Yeah.
Did y'all hear what happened in Florida? Because y'all know it's Florida.
I know, right? And the nurses have been far and wide.
Well, we have an episode about it actually. But did y'all hear about what happened in Florida?
When?
So they're still arresting nurses across the U.S. 2 schools, fraudulent schools, opened up, and they were just printing.
They graduated
diplomas
over 6,000 nurses. So,
with fake diplomas.
with fake diplomas. And then those diplomas went to all the different states. See, y'all ain't listen to credentialing.
Yeah, I didn't listen to credentialing.
But that, I mean, yeah, and so there are people in states, MSPs in states far and wide, I mean, all the way up to Maine, you guys, that are literally catching these fraudulent nurses, when they're going back and actually verifying the school.
What was your question?
Have you guys heard anything about the changes in the NCLEX? Is that what it's called? The NCLEX?
The NCLEX, their RN exam?
Yeah, which I guess they're loosening the restrictions and the environment that you have to take it, which is gonna be wide open for potential fraud on passing that exam.
No.
Have you heard about that?
Well, at least Oklahoma is trying, so you're making sure they graduate from an actual school,
But I do have a little testing anxiety, so I can see that. Like if I could, if we could just make it relaxed, dim the lights, have some tea. I could probably take a real good ace it.
But can I tell, no, the hardest exam I
I don't know
took.
how you do it.
No, but the hardest exam I took was my open book exam.
Oh, God.
You know why? So it was my CPCO exam, which is the Certified Compliance Officer. And they're like, oh, it's an open book exam. I'm like, but I have to study, I got this. This is so great. And then I'm sweating. No, I had forgotten my camera. The guy waited in me another 15 minutes, so I went to Staples. It was a whole thing. Come back sweating. I'm like, okay, I got my camera. I got it set up. Okay, get the camera set up. Go to the okay, open book. It was just the 1,400 pages of the laws. Like, how helpful was that? So it was literally, I had the Stark Law open and the Anti-Kickback Statute Law open, and they're like, that's your open book.
Oh, yeah. But you passed her, I thought.
I did pass.
Yes. See, she's really good. I could not, and that's why I told her. She said, "Why didn't you give me a survey?" I'm just not a good text taker, which some people aren't. Okay, so anyway, let's talk really quick, finish about the words. The nursing boards now can put a progressive program into place. They didn't, lower the bar for people. What they really did is they set it to where the bar is. So everybody knows where the bar is now. The bar is very transparent. And everybody that can reach it, it's there for you to reach, So that's really great because, and then with that, mandatory fingerprints are now for anybody that wants to be a nurse in the state of Oklahoma. They have to be fingerprinted on the state level and the federal level. There's no gaps in screening, so they have to have, all of their history laid out. So really, Oklahoma says they want to know who you are, your history, your risk level, and they're verifying that before that nurse ever touches a patient. And so again, it's just like all of the information that we discovered and learned coming out of your boards. I was just, again, another thing for you to love about Oklahoma. Yeah, I know. And I have never been to Oklahoma, and I'm just, okay. Confession session! You're supposed to scream.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're trying to get through our we have personalities.
Oh, am I doing provider two?
Yes, okay. Just as the beginning.
Okay, so provider two. The provider shortage has stopped feeling theoretical and started feeling personal, y'all.
Wow.
We saw it firsthand with our anesthesiology group. With more providers retiring than actually graduating, we had to lean on a locums agency to keep our OR actually running. The agreement was to bring in 4 nurse anesthetists. In reality, we only needed 1, but contracts are contracts, and the locum company required us to credential all 4. Ever have that happen? Okay, because I see the head shaking. The anesthesiology group was hoping for a start date within 4 weeks and asked that at least 1 CRN be credentialed quickly to help bridge this gap. Not ideal, but doable. The file was clean, references actually checked out, and there was actually no red flags. So we granted temporary privileges to allow the provider to start before the board officially met. It gave the anesthesiologist some peace of mind. The temp privileges were only needed for a few days, and everything went really smoothly. Honey, then came the remaining 3. 2 of them were exactly what you hope for with locum providers. Responsive, transparent, and easy to credential. No issues, no delays. The 3rd one, though, fell off. The locums company started getting evasive in small but noticeable ways. We repeatedly requested procedure logs from the past 24 months, a standard requirement, Nyleen, especially for local tenant providers. Each time the request was deflected or answered with an alternative suggestion. Would a peer letter attesting to competency work? Would a letter of recommendation from a current employer work? Short answer, no and no. Eventually, we were told that the logs couldn't be provided because the provider hadn't been working consistently due to a job transition and some issues with a previous employer. That explanation raised more questions than it ever answered. The locum company vaguely referenced false claims made by a prior employer, very much a carefully worded, lawyer-approved statement, without providing documentation or meaningful context that I could use. A quick Google search filled in the gaps. The provider had left following an investigation into drug diversion allegation. A nurse anesthetist, you all, drug diversion. While no formal charges were filed, and both the provider and the locum company emphasized that the diversion actually couldn't be proven, the situation was still deeply concerning. Combined with the missing procedure logs, it painted a picture that we couldn't ignore. We strongly suggested that the locum company withdraw the application. In the end, no harm was done. It made us especially grateful for a credentialing committee that stayed focused on the details and held the line. Even when peer pressures from the anesthesiology group was strong, they cared enough to do it right, and that made all the difference. No patients were ever put at risk, and no credentials were granted, and it truly felt like a bullet dodged. More importantly, the situation reinforced a critical lesson. Even when staffing shortages create pressure to move quickly, thorough credentialing still matters. Y'all, we were coming through with the tea.
That's really good.
That was a good one.
That was so nice.
That was a good one.
I love our MSPs.
I love them.
They're so smart.
I love them and I love them and
Now I need all you guys to get on it and get on surgery centers, please. Yes, I need you guys in surgery centers so bad. Okay,
they don't want to pay enough.
no, actually, every single person in here can be a CEO of a surgery center
I bet.
and quadruple your salaries.
I bet.
I'm not kidding. You want the secret? I'll tell you the secret.
Yes. Yes.
They
Just
want-
apply. So listen, the last orientation I went to in my last job as a CEO, they had hired a lady who worked in a nursing home. Like, what do they know about MEC, about a governing body, about policies, about procedures, about compliance? Nothing. You guys have, the thing is sometimes I feel that when I tell you guys are the smartest people in the room 99% in the hospital, 99% of the time.
Yes.
I can tell you what we do. And going into the surgery center world, literally the only gap in knowledge I would say y'all or I had, we would have as MSPs, is understanding surgery, right? But guys, go into the operating room for like, I don't know, a day. You'll know you have to have, what the requirements are, which is, your timeouts, your signing, your site checking, your infection prevention, all that stuff. You take one day with your clinical director, y'all can roll
They got it.
any surgery center. Because the number one deficiency in every accreditor for surgery centers is credentialing privileging. They do not credential.
Yeah.
They do not.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really, really
Well, some
scary.
do. We have
Some
a
do.
surgery center.
But that's because it's you.
Yeah.
That's because it's
They,
you.
they outsource it, yeah.
It's because it's you, right?
Okay, one other thing that I wanted to know if you guys had heard about, because I've never heard about it, but it is called an AUA. Have y'all heard about that?
Yes.
Yes? Yes? Okay, I've never heard of that. That is called an advanced unlicensed assistant. And so really, Oklahoma again, honey, Oklahoma, don't play about their patients. They say you can be a patient care technician, but you need to come and get this AUA training so that you can actually be documented, be trained up, know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and we can be tracking you. And I just, again, was another reason to fall in love with Oklahoma, because I've never heard that in any other
Me
state
neither.
that
I've
we've
never
been,
heard of that.
that we've been, going through. And so I'm just saying, if other states are listening and watching, look at Oklahoma, baby, because they're doing it right. They're doing it right. Okay, this was my last, that was my last.
That was your last.
But what I would like to do now, really quick, is if we, let's say, had a mock award ceremony right now, period. I don't care what you have on. 3 of the women got hats. They might let us borrow them. I don't know. Okay?
I'm so mad. You should have told us because I got a nice pink one.
I know, we would have worn the hats. Okay. Just shout it out. Most dysfunctional payer in Oklahoma.
Medicaid.
Okay, Medicaid's a winner, Medicaid's a winner. Okay, ready? Ready for the next one? Who has the longest or worst enrollment delays?
I knew y'all were gonna say that. No, but I hear that all the time.
I was saying, don't make my MSPs. I said, oh, I thought we had a community care person here. Community care, you can get the next one next year. Okay, so, community care, y'all? Okay, they won, I'm sorry, they won it. Next one, last one, all right? Who's the MSP hero in Oklahoma? Who y'all know about? Who's the person? Tell them.
Everybody knows that. Everything, I mean, he is the.
He's our MSP hero. We're gonna call him, he's our Oklahoma MSP hero. Thank you. I don't know Dawn very well, but I do know that when we started Credentialing Chronicles and from very today, he has been here to support us, and I
Yes.
love you for that.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Oh, okay. Did y'all like that?
Yeah.
You know, just a little. We just got to get it out, right? We just got to shout it out sometimes. Okay, your turn.
Oh, I'm ready to spill some tea.
I'm ready too, girl.
You guys ready to get some
Oh,
tea?
my God.
Okay. All right. So
All of the stories.
I need the stories. Okay, I'm gonna do mine first.
Give me all the bad stories.
Well, I did. Why is it me?
It was bad, girl. I was researching. Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this doctor will bring up our age-old question that none of us have been able to answer yet, which is, what do we do with the aging physician? Do we even have an answer for that?
One of the needed topics all the time.
Right? So what do we do about them? Well, this is what happens when we don't do
I'm
about
like, hopefully we love all that.
it. Well, we just, anyway. Okay, so we've got 1989, he graduated medical school. He was issued an Oklahoma license in 1996, and he's a neurosurgeon. He's a neurosurgeon,
Okay.
yep. So, there were malpractice allegations, board scrutiny, practice restrictions, and then eventually ended up with a license surrender. But again, look at the timeline. Issued a license in 1996. His first board action was in 2000. Well, he made a letter to not practice in 2008. So how many years is that? Y'all who are good at math, 18 years?
Yeah. 18.
18, right?
It's now 2026,
Right. So he hasn't been practicing since then, thank God.
18 years.
So, okay. So, according to the November 2009 complaint and citation, the Oklahoma State Board said he had, get this, over 30 medical negligence lawsuits filed in a period of 9 years, but 7 cases were in 2008 alone. So something happened to this guy in 2008. But then in 2009, he said 7 wasn't enough. 11 more by 2009.
And nobody's checking.
Well, it was laid out patient by patient. So I'm gonna give you some of these errors, okay, in neurosurgery. 55-year-olds failed to recognize a non-union complication after surgery. So the patient required repeat surgery. Okay? 15 patients, then in June 2009, 15 patients of deceased individuals tried to get their financial settlements from this doctor. Some of these had died. 48-year-old man, okay? According to this, it was a transfemoral approach on the L3. So L3, L4, L5. So just so you guys know, it's right here. It's right here, okay? Right here. All right. So this guy had he performed the surgery without indication, without giving the patient the option of conservative care, which means therapy, right? He just said, we're gonna do surgery on you. Post-operative complications with a severe injury. That was a 48-year-old. 71-year-old, girl, he was doing craniotomies. Temporal parietal. There you go, temporal parietal craniotomy with an evacuation of a hematoma. He died.
I bet.
55-year-old who had a plating in his back, required another surgery, left unable to work. 27-year-old.
To work or walk?
To work. A 27-year-old, he used the wrong size rods in his lumbar fusion. And he required revision surgeries. He coerced the patient into having a wrong surgery that he didn't even need.
Oh my goodness.
Led to permanent injury, severe pain, depression, and disfigurement. I guess the guy couldn't even walk anymore. 61-year-old. Again, with the plating in the back. Didn't do it right, he was left with back pain. A 75-year-old. The electrodes were not placed in the appropriate location, causing intracranial bleeding with permanent neurological impairment. Then a 37-year-old, oh my God, all ages. laminectomy with a decompression, left them paralyzed. 69-year-old, cervical discectomy. Okay, post-operative complications. 75-year-old, deep brain stimulator implant. Severely incapacitated after surgery. Another female, peripheral nerve damage. 57-year-old female with failed back syndrome, ended up on a morphine pump for life. 37-year-old with another discectomy in the neck. Permanent nerve damage in the left arm. 50-year-old male with a neurological injury due to a disc replacement.
I feel like we in court reading a verdict.
Girl, 52 years. This is everything that was presented to Oklahoma before they did anything. 52-year-old.
Well, they would have come up because it wouldn't last.
Necrosis of brain tissue.
Oh my goodness.
16-year-old.
Ooh.
Death. External ventricular drain for hydrocephalus. 7-year-old. Underwent removal of a brainstem tumor. Caused hydrocephalus, hemorrhage, lack of improper consent, improper surgery performed with permanent neurological injury. Whew, so what did Oklahoma decide
Yeah,
to do?
please tell me.
In 2009, after these bajillion lawsuits and people dying, they sent him to a neuropsychological evaluation. And on the report, it stated that he needed to hold off reopening his office because there were other matters, concerns that he didn't have professional judgment, and he had inability of fitness to return
So
to
it was
work.
just spilling out everywhere.
But then, girl, it said he had unprofessional conduct because he would deceive, defraud, and harm the public, misrepresenting the condition that they had in order to justify their surgery that they didn't actually need or should have tried other things before. So, therefore, they determined that his behavior showed the incapacity or incompetence to continue treating patients.
I mean, I think we started, on old age and left on malice?
Because by that time, how old was he? If he graduated medical school in the 80s, is he 60?
Yeah, right? Where's the math people at?
Where's the math people at? That's not really old.
I'm good.
It's not really old.
No, that's not old. There's 60-year-old doctors practicing.
Every day, a surgeon, neurosurgeons.
I pray to be 60 one day, please.
So he ceased all patient care December of 2008. Then they forwarded him to a mandatory outside evaluation. So the state of Oklahoma did their thing. Then they told him to go to an outside evaluation. He did agree to go through the assessments. And these are two things called the Professional Renewal Center. Do y'all know about that? Have you heard about that? And the CPEP, the Center for Personalized Education for Physicians, y'all know about that in Oklahoma? See, Oklahoma got it down.
Oklahoma has it down? Oklahoma has it down?
So that took place in January of 2009, and they recommended that
But
he
he's not
stop.
practicing right now, 2026.
No, but you know what he is doing?
What?
Consulting.
I was like, girl, now he done came through your facility.
No, he has. Listen, no.
See, these are good guesses though.
They're really good guesses.
Really good.
No, but he found Jesus. He is now living a public life in the Yukon in civic and church-related roles. He is the priest head of the Czech parade in the Yukon.
Where is this Yukon?
Yukon.
It's a town.
Oh, here in Oklahoma still. Oh, he is here, y'all. I thought you skipped the United Nations, like in the United States though.
No, it's a Czech group of people. Y'all have big Czech communities? So he's the head of that. So if y'all want to be
He's the pastor down there.
He's the pastor leading the parade.
Before that.
Come up here, girl. Come up here, technology car, honey. She said she has further information.
She has more information. She needs to expound on the team.
I knew.
You knew it.
Oh, yeah.
So, wait a minute. Say it again. He stopped being a physician, started a lawn company?
Yes, for a short period of
It
time.
was hot though, right? Or does it get hotter here? Oh, okay. Oh, that's you feel red this
Don't
morning.
judge the weather on this week.
Okay. So he was out there cutting grass, and tell us.
Until we found you.
Until he found Jesus. Oh,
So is he in our Yukon or the Yukon?
no.
Our Yukon.
So you're gonna go to the festival and you're gonna find a priest.
We're gonna find it.
He might be there.
You're gonna be like, thank you for serving your license, sir. No, I'm just kidding.
Do not get baptized by him or your lawn cut. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness! Great story.
Okay.
I love you. Okay. Oh, my story's so sad. Does anybody need a bathroom break?
No, they need a confession session break.
Oh, it's a confession session!
Okay.
Wait a minute, we're supposed to sing it together.
Confession Okay, so this doctor was already credentialed when they started working there. So when they first came to the hospital, they were practicing as an ENT, but their privileges, staff category as an ENT were temporary while they completed cosmetic surgery.
Okay.
Because they can do that, they don't do the plastic space yet. A review of the file showed that the credentials committee had clearly done due diligence, education, privileges, got it, everything was checked.
Yes.
The provider was thriving when they got there. New privileges patients were happy, outcomes good were good.
It always starts like that, right?
Cash-only procedures like liposuction, breast augmentation, butt lifts were in high demand. Ooh, y'all like some plastic surgery up in here? I go, okay. I don't have any. Do you have
And I
any?
don't see not a butt lift, so where are you
Do you have any plastic surgery?
No,
Me neither. It's all real.
I'm scared. I've heard too many Credentialing Chronicles stories.
So, as their success grew, so did their ambition. The provider opened their own standalone practice, new shiny building with their own equipment, poached hospital staff. Once the new facility was operational, they stopped using the hospital, of course, and preferred operating exclusively at their own suite. Still, they wanted to maintain active hospital privileges, of course, in case the patients required an admission and a transfer. That makes sense. When reappointment time came, I sent out the usual paperwork, and it came back a little slower than usual. While reviewing the application, I noticed something new. The attestation questions. We got a couple of yeses.
Okay.
They appropriately disclosed that they had a couple of findings on the MPDB. That was good. After follow-ups about the missing procedure logs and peer references that weren't coming, the provider informed us they actually no longer wish to continue their reappointment. Great, because this is going to be a hard conversation with the credentials committee. But now we can just say, oh, they're not coming anymore. Great, not my problem. What eventually emerged publicly was quite serious. 2 known cases were only a small fraction of many lawsuits being filed against the provider. Hundreds of patients alleged negligence, poor outcomes related to cosmetic procedures performed at the facility, and reports included infections, significant complications, and a patient death. We were aware of the death case and had expected it to be thoroughly reviewed during reappointment, but the provider's decision to step away meant it never reached that point. As more details surfaced, the situation became even more troubling. Allegations included failure to follow standard safety practices, inappropriate filming of surgeries.
Which we see more and more with TikTok.
That just happened in Georgia.
That just happened.
The doctor, the Georgia board, the guy from the board that came to present at GAMS, he brought her case up on, and he said that the board they were not playing with her at all. They said, you're out, for recording herself doing surgery. And she ended up killing somebody. Anyway, and inadequate post-operative care leading to widespread infections. The practice ultimately shut down. Provider is no longer practicing because this all unfolded so close to home. Literally, it prompted us to take a hard look inward, especially at what was happening in our own ORs. During the self-review, this was a great opportunity for a performance improvement plan. We discovered scenarios where a nurse, first assist, and even an athletic trainer were closing surgical sites, which, let's talk about that for a minute. Iowa just approved that. So Iowa expanded the scope of care. Athletic trainers can close, just so y'all know. That was in Iowa. So they're expanding their scope of practice. So look at your scopes of practice every year. annually. The trend is, just like they did with your nurse practitioners, they are increasing the scopes, particularly of these first assists and athletic trainers. So athletic trainers are being allowed to go into the operating rooms and service first assists. You keep saying that, girl. You say it out for the people in the back. Okay, so this led to a policy change. Any first assists who are not PAs or nurse practitioners must now be credentialed through the medical staff office, which includes alignment with CMS and DNB. We were fortunate. Nothing happened at our place. Patients operated our hospital with this provider were good, and they didn't have any issues. Still, it's a sobering experience. The connection was close enough to make us stop and ask, are we doing everything we should to be safe in our OR? Hearing stories from community members who weren't as fortunate, who didn't know what to look for when seeking cosmetic procedures has been difficult. Another reason why I need all of you to help me and just take over a surgery center. None of this would have happened if an MSP was there.
Exactly, if an MSP was at a surgery.
If an MSP were at a surgery center, I'm telling you, we would research every single policy, every single timeout, every single site, everything that has to do. Not only are we have the tools, right? Well, we don't have the tools to know how to navigate the policy and procedure system to make sure that we execute everything that we have to execute. Anyway, that was a sobering story.
That was a confession session. Those are from our MSPs in Oklahoma.
Yes.
They are bringing it, honey. And I'm telling you, these stories are what? Real life reminders of what's happening every day in your facilities. And I know, look at all the heads shaking, so we just know. Okay, are you ready for my story? My story is so sad.
And they probably heard about it.
I know y'all have heard of
This
this
is national
story.
headlines.
This is a huge story. Okay. All right, so June.
And I want to know if any of them knew her.
Oklahoma Children's Hospital. I know y'all was a Children's Hospital people. Oh, okay, good.
But do y'all know the doctor? Did y'all know that doctor?
From north to south. Okay, here we are. Oh my God, you know the doctor we're about to talk. Oh my God. Okay.
Did you know her?
Did you know her?
Not personally.
Okay. What a sad story, though. It's so sad. And you know, I have 4 daughters. So I wanted to have a son, but I just never had a son. So no, I don't. I lied. Yeah, I have 6 daughters. Sorry.
I'm gonna tell
So what happened was I had 4 originally, and now I got 2 more. And I just didn't put them all together and equal it. Okay, but there's 6 of them now.
And they're so cute.
Yeah, they're awesome. But 4 of them are, 22 and up. And then there's a 7-year-old, a little cute 2-year-old. They're just so cute. But when I was reading this story, how do you not? It's just so sad. But here we go, okay? June 2025, on the 27th day. This doctor, we try not to say doctor's name, so if you know the doctor, that's fine. You guys can say it, but we just try not to because we don't ever want to be looked at as physician bashing. But
or state bashing. We're not bashing anybody. Just expose.
When we talk about, as you can see, the good, the bad, the ugly, we just try to talk about it all. Okay. So this doctor was 36 years old. She was an Oklahoma pediatric, working out of Oklahoma Children's Hospital. And she went on vacation to Florida with her daughter, and they, and in the course of this, her daughter is in the bottom of the pool, dead. And so what happens is they're at this short-term rental, like an Airbnb, and the doctor, calls 911. She's talking to the 911 person, and she's saying that her daughter must have gotten up in the middle of the night and gotten outside and gotten into this pool.
Is she performing CPR while she's calling 911?
Well, she's telling the people.
Or is she not ACLS certified?
It would be pals.
That's right. Sorry, pals.
We know. But yeah, because she's pediatric. But anyway, so she's saying that she tried CPR, and yeah, we're going to talk about that even further. And so, but it doesn't seem right, like the investigators, you know, even the 911 dispatch, they're just saying it doesn't feel right, the whole situation doesn't feel right. And then the baby is pulled from the water, and they're investigating, and guess what? There's no water in the baby's lungs, there's no water in the baby's stomach. And so now it has turned from the baby left in the middle of the night with her mother, a pediatrician, and drowned to her mother must have done something, right? And I just get goosebumps. So it didn't match up, and they're talking to this, you know, the pediatrician, and the pediatrician is saying, like, I tried to perform CPR, I was trying everything. And so as they were examining the body, they said that there were injuries internally to the mouth that didn't correlate with CPR. It correlated more with smothering. Yeah, and so the police, you know, literally, I mean, before they went anywhere, it's just such a severe story, you know, about, I mean, the police themselves could not believe that she was a pediatrician from Oklahoma while all of this was going on. So that was just something that was being reported out in Florida.
Right.
That was just saying, like, how did this happen? And then as it keeps coming out,
Right.
And it doesn't look what it's supposed to look like. So they ended up accusing her of, you know, the death of her daughter. That has happened. So the thing about this that I looked at is allegedly is that her I went ahead and verified her license because it's just something we do, and her status class under the Oklahoma Medical Board is listed as expired. So they actually let her license expire. So it doesn't say anything like her license was taken away or anything. And under the disciplinary action portion of it, it's listed as there are no pending or active investigations. And so when you're thinking of that, you think, how does something, you know, like this, that is national news, that is, you know, how would you ever know? You know, cases like this is why we talk all over the United States, because things like this actually have ripple effects, right? I mean, people went and seen this doctor in the children's hospital, people knew about this doctor, and then they see this on national news. And so what does it, you know, correlate to the organization, right? It correlates to the organization that, you know, initially there is a bond, there's a provider that we can trust, and that's the core essentials of healthcare, is that we can go and see a provider and have trust. And it kind of tore that all apart, right? Because it's like this pediatrician that has dedicated their lives to protecting children has now went and hurt their own child. And, you know, granted, there's probably a lot of mental health issues, as we've already kind of talked about, that were going on. But ultimately, when we're thinking about it, it hurts the trust of the community when things like this happen. And it hurts the hospital's reputation when people hear things of this happening. And then it creates, you know, privileging and credentialing concerns. And it's like, how does the off-duty conduct, how do we monitor that? Can you monitor that? You know, I mean, like Nyleen said, you know, we have a doctor that put his wife in a closet and there's false arrest charges. Well, is that something that affects the medical staff? You know, I mean, you know, so you just, we're really thinking there's things like on the back of a background check that you first see on a provider that's really not kind of monitoring the behavior of that person. And we really want to look at, you know, what triggers those kind of incidences, those events. And you guys are always, you know, looking at ways to assist and to provide support. We did an episode on PBI education. They provide a lot of support for physicians and medical staff offices. But it's just, you know, your medical staff, look for triggers, look for patterns, you know, look for behaviors, listen to patient complaints, and all of those things are really the holistic approach of that provider. Would we still catch something like this? Probably not. But ultimately, right, I mean, it kind of starts to build like a pattern, because like we always say, these things don't just kind of happen spontaneously. There are patterns and behaviors that kind of lead up to this when you know, if you question something, and you question something, and you question something, and you question something, but you never get together and say, hey, we were all questioning the same thing, then how do people know, right?
Well, and how many of your hospitals have a physician wellness committee?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You guys, you have one?
Two.
That's good.
That is good. 3?
Yeah, that's good, that's good. So the hospital, like, that I came from, we had 1,400 doctors.
Yeah.
We had 3 doctors commit suicide in the period of 2 years. One was a neurosurgeon who slit his wrists in his parents' house. Another one was a hospitalist who jumped off of a bridge in Miami. And another one I can count himself. So, I mean, these are like severe issues that doctors are dealing with, and that's why there are foundations, like she mentioned, about PBI education, to if someone is going through a mental health crisis, regardless of their status in the community, they should seek help. We should seek help.
Yeah, they don't sponsor us, I mean, but we just consider, we figure that
Correct.
they are just a great resource. And that not all MSPs know about it. They should, please email them and ask them to sponsor us. But, you know, it's just a great resource because really you all, I mean, it's an uncomfortable realization, right? When we look at it and we say, okay, a clean license, a prestigious title,
Right.
you know, an elite training, but it still doesn't let you know who that person is, what they're dealing with, what they're capable of not doing and what they're capable of doing. And so, but you guys are the person, the defense, the line, the person, and you are supposed to know how to do all of that stuff. And so anything that we can provide to help you with that, you know, is just something that we would love to provide.
So, on your beautiful handy dandy pink and yes, you got it. I trust the park today.
Exactly.
I know.
Understood the assignment.
She did it. That's the polka dots. Okay. So on the pink side, pass the file. On the white side, fail the file. That's our game that we're playing here. So we're gonna go ahead and put it up, and you ask the question, you're gonna choose. We'll look, if you wanna talk about it, we'll talk about it. If not, we'll move on to the next one, okay? It's your show, we're just here to support.
Yeah. And yeah. Get your sorry.
It's the names in her job. She's just so ready for the credit. You better be signing this person credit.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, so a provider submits their application claiming a no gap. You start verifying and you find a 2-year discrepancy. When you ask about it, they have you say, oh yeah, I was consulting, so no details, no documentation, just fine. Are you gonna pass the file? No?
Stop. Oh, everybody's stopping that file. Okay. You finally reach a listed reference after multiple attempts. We all know this. You ask if they would recommend the provider. There's a very long pause, ... Followed by, I mean, if you really need someone. What would you do? You are the line of defense.
That was it, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Okay, do y'all not have cards? Oh, okay, I said, give me a card, baby. Okay.
The application is submitted quickly, but too quickly. Everything is filled out. Looks perfect, no gaps, no issues, almost like it was brushed or copied. Your instincts are tingling.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling.
Or stop the file.
You know the MSP ting-a-ling-a-ling, we all have it, y'all.
Yeah, you're gonna pass the file, I'm sorry.
You're passing it? Is that because the CEO right behind you telling you? But your eye is on that provider, right? Your eye is on that provider. Okay, my turn. The provider checks no malpractice history. But during verifications, what do we uncover? A settled case they never disclose. When asked, they say, oh, I didn't think that was counted. They passed it. Do we get new disclosure questions? Do we get new disclosure questions? Yes. Yes, okay.
But remember, the state of Oklahoma said if you lie on your application,
You're done.
you're done. So
you're about to make the provider shortage a whole lot worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, a provider's license is set to expire in 2 weeks. They assure you the renewal is already in progress, but there's no proof. Meanwhile, leadership wants them onboarded. But the license is active right now.
Yeah, yep.
You said who's going to meeting day? Anytime meeting day. Exactly. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, you review a privilege request, and the provider is asking to perform privileges well outside the specialty. When questioned, they say, I've seen it done a lot. I love that that's a joke you or something. Y'all ain't never heard that one before, right? What do you do?
Okay, administration will do a sign and says, we're short-staffed, we just need this provider cleared. Can you move things along? The file still has missing verifications and unanswered questions.
Why are you passing the file through?
Oh, she's passing the file.
I said, talk for a minute.
Are you passing the file? What happened to your day?
I can just get it done.
Oh, that's what we're supposed to
And that's what period.
do.
2 days ago,
Okay.
with me, they said, get it done and grant temporary privileges.
Unanswered questions.
Nope.
Didn't have a claims history. Started on the afternoon, because they were taking call that night. 2 days ago.
Oh, and you pushed it through.
I lost it out.
Okay.
I didn't want anything to do with that.
Tell me.
That happened to me also, and I made an email saying that they wanted to prove that I'm regretting it is not completed, you can sign off.
Exactly. Did y'all hear her? Okay, because that's exactly what you do in that situation. Is say, give me some.
This, they sign off on virtual committee. Yeah, sorry, Mark.
Exactly. But you're documenting. Yes. Okay.
You open the MPD report, and it's not just one issue, it's
What do you mean? That's like our favorite series.
I mean, the rest of that.
It's like a sitcom.
each one, it's multiple entries across different facilities, each one has a slightly different explanation.
It depends.
On what?
I'm gonna do it like this.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
It depends, like, let's say, it depends on how many people are involved. Because if there's maybe 15 people and they're part of it but didn't do anything with it, then,
Just a name.
yeah.
So a game that we played, that nobody answered on LinkedIn, but that's okay, you guys are good if not. Anyway, what's the longest MPD report you've had?
36 pages.
Oh, wow.
50? We got 50, we got 36, we got 50, how much? 90.
Yeah.
90.
I mean, it had, so it needed that you tell that, it had to be you who did that, right?
I know that.
Don't always be with the problem child.
But you're gonna document, right, the whole way through. Exactly. Exactly.
So mine was 110, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, mine was 110. Yeah. Okay.
You've sent multiple follow-ups requesting documents, but the provider hasn't responded in over 3 weeks. Suddenly, they email saying, can you rush this? I need privileges next week. Hello, I'm on schedule.
No.
What do y'all say back? I just want to hear.
Oh, I tell them.
Keep hearing.
Email, yes. Anybody else have anything good that we can use?
We can't get some back, we tell them they get a contract, whoever we're missing it and get the response.
Exactly. Okay.
They don't have a DEA, can I just do it for them? No.
Do what? Fill out the application for them?
No, can I
Like,
like,
prescribe.
Prescribe for them?
yeah.
I've heard that one before too.
And now, I will tell you, I'm gonna add a caveat to that. Because there's a lot of specialties that don't have DEAs. So what I do at my facilities is I have a DEA waiver, which says if this patient needs a prescription and I don't have a DEA, I'm going to send them back to their primary care, or I will refer them to this partner, or some kind of arrangement that they can get, that they can get that care, get that prescription. So it's not necessarily off, we just need the documentation to support that.
But do you have the other provider saying that they will provide a DEA if they?
Right, technically, yeah, you should have that backed up,
That
but
kind of agreement.
Yeah.
with that agreement, kind of, we have
She can't.
a thing.
Oh, confession session!
Okay.
She's great, yeah, I mean, it's getting lower, but yeah.
Okay, these are short ones. These are the short ones. Oh no, we have this one here.
Yes.
Okay, Family practice OB arrested in 2008 for.
Glad I don't have to say it.
For child molestation and sodomy. Summarily suspended by the hospital, was acquitted. According to LinkedIn, now owns a healthcare recruitment company.
This is an Oklahoma?
Yes.
Oklahoma.
He no longer practices. But, so when I looked up his name, because John also was aware of his provider. So when we Googled his name, we found him on LinkedIn, and now he owns a high-quality healthcare recruitment company. I'm sure it's extremely high quality.
High quality, yeah, that's what
High quality.
You stole it all out of my head.
Read the second.
The second one?
Okay.
No, he had previous disciplinary action during residency for inappropriate interactions with female patients and required a chaperone.
Because they asked for an explanation, he gave a plausible explanation, and they said, oh, okay, that seems reasonable. And then this came out a few years later.
Patterns of behavior, they always come out. That's what we always see, that's what we always see. You contact a listed reference and they say, I don't feel comfortable speaking on their clinical ability. That's it, no elaboration. So, let me tell you a story that came out of Iowa while we were there. I just found this to be so incredible. One of the providers, one of the MSPs was credentialing, was trying to call this reference, the last reference, trying to call the reference. They said over 17 times, calls and emails, trying to call the reference. Got with the provider's in the office, and you call him, this reference isn't working. Right, picks up the cell phone, calls the reference, and the reference he says, hey, my medical staff is trying to call you for a reference. The guy says, I've already answered 17 references in the last 3 months. I don't want to answer any more references. He says, look, I'll send you a $50 gift card. Just answer the reference. Oh my God. Amazon gift card. I said, well, did you take the reference? She said, yeah, but I noted it on the file.
Can I have another name, please?
That's kind of crazy. But just things, with it, it's crazy the things that we hear.
Dates across the application CPM verification documents don't really line up. When we pointed out, the provider says, oh, it's probably a typo. Yeah.
We're the CBO, so a lot of the times we send stuff back. So you gotta do it, it's gotta match, it's all gotta be across the board. Because by the time you send it to them, one of the things that APC tries to do is make sure that when the client gets the file back, it's ready for committee, there's nothing that the people have to do on it. And so it's constant, like, oh, we need to do some other questions, oh, we need it, so it's like, this ain't feeling right, we can't send it on. During privilege review, the provider states that they are comfortable performing a high-risk procedure, but cannot provide recent case logs or supporting documents. We already know that one, everybody stopped with that one, and we just talked about it.
Okay, well, wait, true story.
Tell me.
I got a true story. This doesn't really happen. You guys know that. All this, that fact that we're stopping the file. So, I just went into, I'm not even kidding, I just went into a rural critical access hospital. They have CRNAs doing pain management, advanced level pain management. Ooh, with no people. No supervising doctor. And then Montana Surgery Center reached out, and the CRNAs were like, well, yeah, it's not here because we practice independently in Montana, and we can do whatever we want. And I was like, oh, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever.
So then I said to the medical director, I said, do you feel comfortable allowing a CRNA to do an advanced level procedure at your facility when you have no physician oversight? She was like, no, not at all. And I said to the CRNA, I said, so it will not be on your privilege form. And then they were like, okay, fine, whatever, we can do it down the street. So,
Go down the street.
Okay, I got the CRNAs coming with some forms.
yes, because they can do whatever they want. According to them, it's in their training, it's in their school.
Well, there's a missing chunk of work history when asked. The provider says, I took some time off for personal reasons, but declines to give any further explanation for documentation. What do you think?
We did rehab.
Right? I'm thinking I need an explanation, right? Yeah, I need an explanation for that one, definitely. You're letting it go through?
Oh,
Okay. I didn't feel like you was the type of woman that was letting it, okay.
Not that.
Let's see. Application is flawless, no gaps, quick responses. But it feels unusually perfect compared to every other file you've seen, almost too perfect.
sometimes they are.
What we gonna do?
Here's a note, so, okay, true story.
Some people are perfect.
Okay, true story. We have a doctor. Everybody knows he has bad outcomes. Nurses don't want to work with him. But he has a clean file. We deferred him twice, and after the second time I said, you guys cannot grant him privileges. You have no basis. Where's the peer review data? Where is the information? You don't have it. It's just all hearsay. You can't do anything about it. And I think that's one of the things that is frustrating about us, is that maybe we know that something's going to happen, but it's like, we can't do anything about it.
And that's the hardest part of our job. And I think that, and then you overlay it. You know, every time we get a commission session. This doctors, because I'm about to be 50. I'm like, I gotta keep the thoughts going. But I think when you overlay it then with the confidentiality umbrella, and then it's like, you don't know like we said, the person's doing something over here, person's doing something over here, nobody's able to talk about it, you choose who your references are. And so things can fall through the cracks so easily.
Right. Yep.
I started noticing something weird. At first it was small, one file then another. I'm going through peer references, the ones everyone kind of skims before they look fine on the surface, but something felt off, the wording. Every single reference had the same phrasing, the same structure, even the same little quirks in how things were said. So I slowed down, I started lining them up side by side, and that's what hit me. Every peer reference had the exact same wording. No, not similar, literally identical. Same sentences, same tone, same everything. And I thought, there's no way multiple providers from different places just happen to write exactly like this. So I dug deeper. Different names, assigned them, different emails, but the voice never changed. They were all written by the same person. And the craziest part, no one got it. Not in one cycle, not in two cycles, not in years. These files went through committees, approvals, reappointments, clean, stamped, done. And it made me stop and think, if something this obvious can sit in a file that long without anyone questioning it, what else are we missing? Because this right here, this is exactly why we do what we do to catch things. How many office managers, right? If you get the peers, it's 3 people at the same office and the office manager's filling all the peers out.
The office manager at one case, actually, the neurosurgeon that had committed suicide, his practice office manager, she would complete all their reappointment applications and stamp their applications. They had all had a $2 million lawsuit that she never disclosed, and it was like all 10 of the doctors out of 80.
So sometimes like the doctor is the office manager.
The office manager.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this, you cannot do that. You have to disclose. She's like, I didn't know they didn't tell me they got food. I said, because it's not your responsibility to sign off on the application. It's there.
Yeah, ultimately, no, you're right.
It's there. Okay, let's go some Tiara and then
Okay.
so this is a doctor. Okay, long before medicine. So he had a life before medicine.
Yes.
Between 1980 and 2009, he had accumulated 9 arrests, many times tied to alcohol-related offenses like DUIs, driving while suspended, child endangerment because he had his 9-year-old son in the car, 5 driver's license suspensions, and an additional 14 moving violations. And some moments really stood out. Right?
Yeah.
So a DUI, he admitted to drinking just 4 or 5 years. Another where officers noted that he had slurred speech, disorientation, and inability to follow directions. And then he refused to submit to some testing, right? A couple times. But then, that started in 1980. So then, by 1998, he said, well, I'm going to be a doctor. So he's going to apply to Oklahoma for his medical license. So he says, but Oklahoma, I only have 1 DWI from 1998. But the board says, well, you actually failed to disclose multiple prior arrests and convictions, including some of those early DUIs, you know, like the driving while suspended. And the problem was that he had a physician evaluator for his application who attested and said to him, he doesn't have an alcohol dependency problem. This guy is okay. However, because he did not disclose his full history, he answered no. Check this out. The renewal, that's funny. So they applied for his license in 1998, right? 1998, he had the 1 DUI. But what happened was he actually went through his renewal applications in 2003, 2004. So the board finally filed a formal complaint in 2011 after they noticed their mistake 4 times before. They said, okay, there's fraud with the representation of a license, failure to disclose arrest, substance abuse, inability to practice safely, dishonorable and immoral conduct, agreed he had violations. So the outcome. Rather than fight the case, what does the doctor do? He goes voluntarily submitted to the board jurisdiction. He pled guilty. So the board ordered a license suspension for 4 months and 5 years of probation. Okay? But the 5 years of probation included intensive monitoring. So he had to do the recovery program. He had to go into the Oklahoma Health and Federal Recovery Program. He had to submit to the random drug and alcohol testing. He had to go to 4 meetings a week. He had to go to therapy and psychiatric monitoring. He had to have a sponsor. He had to regularly report to the board. He couldn't prescribe medications for himself or his family, and he couldn't drink. No more drinking for you. You're cut off. In 2011, right?
That's a lot you have to miss every day, right? After this.
But most importantly, he couldn't supervise allied health. Which I thought that was a really cool restriction that the board placed on him. 2004. He didn't finish his probation. Because it's 2011, he was probation 5 years, but they only took out his license for 4 months. So in 2012, they reinstated him. After suspension, they reinstated him. And they said that he could be managed. So fast forward to 2026. Where is he today?
Where? Oh my God.
Where is he today?
In Oakland.
You think No, he has an active, unrestricted license in Oklahoma. He's actively practicing right here in Oklahoma City. And he's a general surgeon. And he has a clear and active legally practicing license to practice.
Are you able to see all the previous board stuff?
Yes, I got all of that, those details from the board actually on his license. But he cleaned up. I'm very
Passing or failing the file? Oh, we don't want to talk about that. My girl with the yellow, orange hat, she gonna let us know. She said her CEO say pass that file. Nobody else, pass or fail, or what are we doing? I think it would require a little bit further.
Well, and the question, Frank, is were the probation terms successfully completed? Because they gave him back his license in 2012. Now, obviously, he still has an active license today. He must have completed the 5 years of probation.
Yeah.
But like, as an MSC, right, as the medical staff office, what things are we going to put in place to ensure that he's compliant? Now, something I learned in Georgia. Florida works differently. Every state has the program. Your program is called the what? Oklahoma what? Recovery program. Do you guys get letters from that or automatically, or do you have to request them at reappointment? You have to request them at reappointment? So, or you request them every quarter, or how do you request them every quarter? Every quarter, but the responsibility is on you. So, Georgia, listen, here's a recommendation.
What about your list? What about your list?
So the conference last week, I just came, the lady from the Georgia program, PHP program, as soon as the doctor signs a release to have their information sent back to a facility, that facility receives automatic updates every quarter.
I thought that's what used to happen, but I want to really check.
So, because we got so many doctors to be worrying about.
Not a request, is it a letter or email that you guys send?
Yeah, with a special release. But Georgia does it automatically for us. So I thought that was really, really good, really helpful for us. Put it on your list of things to help. And so, and then who needs to know, right? Your risk manager, your quality manager, your CMO, your department chair. Those are really important things. But that was a good story.
That's a good story.
Okay, what's your story?
Oh, let me see. Mine has to do with well, I was telling my story, but then Heather said that she even had a better story.
Huh?
She was supposed to text me.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. Sorry. Okay. We got an email from a provider that said, we need credentialing tomorrow, we need it right now, or we're gonna close the OR. So I said, okay, who is it? What is it? Like, what's their email? Gave their, CV. Do they have my first question, do they have a license in Oklahoma? Half the time we get no, and I'm like, then I'm not doing anything with it. So this one, we sent out the application, we need them tomorrow. Well, we still haven't filled it out, so that was kind of weird. And then later we get the same guy who said, rush it, I need it tomorrow, we're gonna close the OR. And he says, never mind, we're just gonna withdraw it. And I said, that's interesting. And about 20 minutes later, I get an alert from our narcotics division that he's been arrested for stealing drugs at another hospital. I mean, he's in jail.
Still.
Yes.
That was a good confession session.
That was a good confession session. She didn't even do it anonymously. I like that, Heather. Okay, all right. Okay, so this gentleman is a dental assistant. This is a story that I wanted to bring out because really it is an oral surgery center. And it really, what we're really going to talk about is, all the monitoring, everything that we put in place. But sometimes it's not the doctors or the APRNs or the PAs that we need to monitor. It's really everybody that kind of has access to a patient, right? So this gentleman in 2021 had an allegation of sexually assaulting a sedated patient at an oral surgery center. The allegations then started to come forward all the way to 2024. Some of the allegations started to include that children were included, that they were waking up feeling uncomfortable, that everybody that had this problem was unconscious. And the setting of this was their oral surgery center in the room at the oral surgery center. So I guess my first question was, where are all the people? Because when I talk to you, it sounds to me there's about 4 or 5 people in the surgery room.
There is usually many people.
So I said, how does it work with the dental assistant? So that was one of the questions.
He's quick.
He was quick.
They're the charges. I mean, yeah. So there is a core assumption again that, you know, safety is there. And this gentleman was charged. When they found out, when they finally brought everything to him, they had his phone. He had over 10,000 images of children in compromising positions. They winded up bringing 30 charges against him: sexually battering, forcible sodomy, children exploitation. And here's the 30 charges, you all. And here's the thing: in 2026, he pled guilty, which is by what's called a blind plea, meaning that he admitted everything, all the content. He said that he admitted it all. Have y'all heard of that story? Yes. Sometimes, you know, I mean, does it make you think about like non-licensed providers in situations, and should we be credentialing them? I know, you know, as a CDO, we credential a lot for FQHCs, and under the HRSA, they credential everybody, whether you're CMA, everybody's credentialed. I mean, but is that something, does any of your facilities credential everybody that kind of has patient contact, or is it only the NPI that are legal?
I'm doing dental assistants right now, actually.
Good, you're doing it. That's so awesome. I mean, right? And so when you're looking at that, you know, it's like you're monitoring them, you're doing their background checks, you know, that is a tool that we use for monitoring. And when you're saying, you know, that we're looking for patterns, you're thinking that, you know, people have come out and made complaints, made allegations before, and so those are some of those patterns that you're looking for in the background checks. But really, you know, there has to be some sense of continuing monitoring when we're looking at that in the form of camera policies, right? In the form of chaperones. I mean, you know, again, not sponsored by PBI, but PBI now has a chaperone program that any facility can get anybody chaperoned. And they're told, you know, when things are becoming inappropriate, what to look for. And so again, that is just, when they told me that, I said that is just such a great program, because it's like, where do you even start to be a chaperone? You don't even realize that it's this objective position that the person has in the room. And so many times there are over 50 to 100 incidences that happen before a person actually gets caught. You know, and so when you're looking at that, 2021 to 2024, this is 3 years of exposure. And this is when the patients actually started to come up, you know, and give the list of the 30 charges that he actually pleaded to all 30 of them. But you think about that, and how many patients were before the 2020 that didn't feel comfortable enough, that didn't even know that something had happened. And that is, you know, something that kind of hinders the detection process, because if patients don't talk about it, aren't being able to voice that they are uncomfortable, they don't know where to go. One of the places that we went in January in Podfest is a forum where it just kind of taught us how to be podcast people. And we, you know, they have the happy hour, everybody, you know, at conferences. And so we went to the happy hour with our cameras, with our microphones, and, you know, we were talking, and these are people that have no idea what we all do. And, you know, we're asking them, you know, hey, what is a credentialing committee? And they're like, what is a credentialing committee, you know? What is OPPE? And they're like, yeah, we're down with OPP. And I'm saying, what is the FPPE? No, we like the OPPE. I'm like, what's the problem? And, you know, and so we're telling people, you know, patients, but the number.
No, we did tell them.
Yeah.
They thought it was the coolest thing ever.
They're like,
I know, we have the coolest job ever.
You do that ongoing? Yeah. If there's a problem, we focus it down and figure it out. But when you look at it, the patient is just so not knowledgeable to the things that MSPs are. And so it's like, if they have a problem, number one, they're all patients are taught, like, you know, that a doctor is pretty much close to God. And so you don't want to say nothing wrong. You don't want to feel bad. But when we talk to patients, like, literally the number one thing, what do we hear? My mom.
Yeah, exactly.
When I took my grandfather, and honey, they go into this long, vented, 40-minute story sometimes.
Or, severe cases of like, doctors just didn't know or made a bad mistake, and we all know that they are practicing. Like, I had a case right now. We had a patient come in, and he had a carpal tunnel surgery, and came in and kept saying that I had carpal tunnel surgery 6 months ago, and my hand is still hurting. The doctor says he's done everything for me. I came here for a second opinion because I work for a cancer clinic. Well, long story short, the guy almost lost his hand. He had developed an infection that went from his pinky all the way to his elbow. It ended up being a huge surgery, and my doctor's like, all I had to do was one test and I knew that you were infected. And it was infected for over 6 months. And nobody knew, and the doctor kept saying that the patient was the problem. So when patients experience that, they just get,
And they don't even know how to say it.
and they don't even know how to say it. And they're like, who do I complain to?
And it's like this, and what we're finding out every single time, and which we're very happy and fortunate that we get to talk about with Credentialing Chronicles, is that the system cannot see itself. It's just unfortunate, but the system cannot see itself. And so there's all these systems that we all put out there, and that organizations and through our policies and everybody, but it is you all, the MSPs, that see the system, see the cracks in the system, see the patterns of the system, and then you all are able to advocate for the patient without ever meeting a patient, right? I mean, it's not like you're advocating for Susie because you know Susie and you love Susie. No, you're advocating for Susie without ever knowing Susie, because you're making sure that the provider, that you stop, that Heather stopped because she knew, that the application didn't come in. Those are the people that are preventing a patient from waking up and feeling touched, feeling violated, feeling, that something is happening. And again, I know that we're very close to closing this session out, but, what we're going to talk about just kind of going into tomorrow, and again, tonight, every night, when you're in your bathtub, wherever you do, meditate, pray, whatever you are doing, get your book, write it down. You are the voice of this industry, and the more that people hear from you and what you can use and how they can use it, the more that it gets the voice out there and it helps everybody else in all the other states that we're going to.
Guys, and I'm just letting you know, we did this, and this is a truly, can I tell you, just side note for Credentialing Chronicles, this is truly a labor of love. We have put in our heart, our sweat, our tears, our anger, our screaming, our families, our everything, because we find it so important to get this message out here. We've truly done this completely on our dime.
Yes.
On our time. And we've just now gotten, we have two big sponsors. Two big sponsors for the talks of finalizing 2 more big ones.
But two of them, let's talk about. Let's talk about this baton.
On this baton
on every episode.
We talk about them every episode. BatonHealth.com. They have been our #1 supporter since the beginning. They sponsor every episode,
and it's a great. Do any of you use Baton?
Baton Health.
Baton is a system. I would say it's comparable to FSMB. So I would give it that comparison.
Right.
But what it is you put the provider's NPI number in there, and it brings up the provider in every single state, all the licenses.
All their actions, all their, you can click on it and go directly to the source and all that. It's a little bit more
and it
friendly.
For nurses as well. Correct?
And
yeah,
it does nurses and everything.
So that's where it kind of differs from the FSMB, where it's not just providers or PAs, because that is a very valuable resource when people don't disclose all their licenses.
Yep, it's all these things.
So that is #1 Baton. They are a great company. We love Robert. He made our song. He made our song coming in.
Are you saying baton like a twirling baton?
Yeah, B-A-T-O-N.
Baton, baby. The one. That's how you say it.
Yes. And the other one is HST Pathways. So HST Pathways is near and dear to my heart. It's an EHR vendor company and also an RCM platform for practice management for surgery centers. And they have one of the biggest EHRs for surgery centers to make sure that they are compliant and up to date. They have a little credentialing module. They kind of put a little thing in place where you can put the doctor's license and it'll pop up and let you schedule the case unless the doctor doesn't have the license. So that's pretty cool. So that's another one of our sponsors, HSC Pathways. So
I will
Great
say that he is our sole sponsor in Germany.
yes,
Okay. And I don't know his title, but he is housed in Germany.
yeah.
And so our numbers.
So our numbers are high in Germany.
Yeah, we need to go to Munich.
Munich.
No, people love us. She's like, oh, that's great. I'm making sure that it's top.
So yeah.
So just so that you know, I mean, it starts from nothing. I mean, we went last year. And, you know, NAMS was our first year there, and I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of people just, you know, the MSPs, you guys have always loved us and supported us, but I think a lot of the other vendors and stuff kind of feel like, what they doing with that big old big stand? They get Pepto and Bismol. Not we Pepto and Bismol. But when we decided to have the podcast, the lady sent us all these podcasts. What do they call it? The cover art.
Cover art. Oh, we hired somebody to help us with our cover art and our branding and all this other stuff.
And so she's like, well, what is it? What do you love? What calls you? And I said, none of this calls me. Me calls me. And you know, she's a Pisces, I'm a Pisces. She's a March Pisces. I'm a February Pisces. But we are so, like, if she says, yeah, that's good, she already knows that I'm probably going to say, yeah, that's good. And the same with her. And so she's like, yeah, I just really love pink too. And then when we did it and we had the two girls on the mics, the lady's like, oh yeah, pink is the only one that stands out on all the podcasts. And I'm like, yeah, that's how MSP should be, like standing out among all the other podcasts.
I know.
So again, it's yours too. I mean, if you all want to do a podcast, I mean, maybe not. You want to do stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Maybe you're punching on the mic and you want to talk about all this. But again, whatever it is that you all want to do and however you want to express yourself as an MSP, we want you to do that because it is a profession that every person that is involved with healthcare, which is everybody, your parents, our children, everybody needs to know that we exist and that we are out there and that there are people that are literally protecting patients from bad actors because they don't know.
But can I just need to say this story because, like, I know we talk about the doctors and stuff like that, but we talk about bad patients. So can I tell y'all what happened the other day at our office? Okay, because I have to tell the tea, yeah, and that's because I don't live in Oklahoma, so I'll have to spill some of my tea for this because it's actually a really good story. Because, like we saw in the story earlier, the patients fit in the doctor's face. I think patients do need to be held accountable for their behavior as well. So, at my clinic, my office, well, not my hospital, my orthopedic clinic that I have.
She's in a couple of different things.
I have a couple of different things going on. Gotta make sure I keep my hands in everything. So we do hormone replacement therapy. Hopefully that patient isn't listening, but okay, hopefully she's not. Anyway, we do hormone replacement therapy. Do y'all know about hormone replacement therapy? Right? Okay. Pelleting. Do you know about pelleting? Yes? Anybody over 45? Okay, everybody over 45 start looking into it, whatever. Anyway, so the point is that we do it right here. We do it right here. I'm just telling you where we do it.
We say we don't need no pellets.
No,
yeah.
So anyway, we do the pellets here, which means it's not down here. The pellets are up here. So we normally like the top of your gluteus maximus, but like the very top, you know. So moving up your area. So the doctor goes in, and one of the things I love about my doctor is he's a male.
Is it little rocks?
Like little pellets. It looks like little. This is what they do. It looks like little white. They're like food pellets, like a bunny pellet.
Yeah, so that's
what they look like. So the patient comes in, and he always tells me, I never go in a room with female alone. Don't care. It's always his rule. He's been married for 40 years. And it's his rule, he's always had it. So he tells our medical assistant to go into the room with him. He tells her, okay, I'm gonna numb you up. So he normally numbs them up for about 10 minutes and then make sure they don't have any pain when he inserts. Okay, fine. So he goes, okay, you can lay on the table and just, scooch your pants on. Usually a patient will lay down and then MA will go and pull the pants down to the necessary area. Usually it's like right above the crack. Like we don't even see it. No. She was really good. You know what she did? He said, I'm gonna go numb you. She said, okay. She went, She took off her whole pants and she had no underwear on. And she had yoga pants, she put them all the way down to the floor. And she said,
She was ready for pellets. That's funny. What did your doctor do?
he was like, I've never seen one like that before. I'm not an OB.
I don't think I'll say anything.
My MA ran with the little truck and she was like, I think you can lay down now. She laid like that on the table. And then she just wiped down everything out. We're like, ew. So when we go to like the doctor's room, it's like just
Well, do you
take her own like
tell the patient, like, hey, next time wear panties, my God?
for real.
Did you say that?
I mean, I wasn't there, but I should
Yeah,
say
you should
that
say
the policy is you
Would y'all
must
say
wear underwear.
You might. I would say that. I would say that. Maybe if you want to, but maybe put your panties
Patients misbehave, you know? So I don't want to blame the doctors all the time because patients are just as bad, man.
Ooh, Shannon, that was a lot of tea.
Honey, but have they subscribed yet to hear it next week? On all of these platforms, please subscribe, like, and follow us.